Alrighty, welcome to MTG Anonymous. Today we have Simic Proliferate. So we've got quite a few, well, it's not quite a few. We got some stuff going on. We'll go ahead and get into this deck tech. First off, we've got 13 creatures, 4 enchantments, 9 sorcery, 10 planeswalkers, and 24 lands. We're playing the standard shakeup, but this is also what we're going to be using in ranked too. So first off, we have Spectral Sailor. For 1 blue, you get a 1/1 Spirit Pirate with Flying and Flash. And then for 3 and a blue, draw a card. Flash says you may cast a spell with Flash anytime you can cast instant. And Flying says a creature with Flying can't be blocked except by creatures with Flying or Reach. Speaking of Reach, next we have a Boral Grazer. For 1 green, you get a 0/3 creature beast with Reach. When it enters the battlefield, you may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. So, obviously we're going to use this as ramp, and then the Spectral Sailor is going to be used as card draw, but we only have 1, so we maybe or may not be able to draw into it. Pelt Collector for 1 green, you get a 1/1 Elf Warrior. Whenever another creature you control enters the battlefield or dies, if that creature's power is greater than Pelt Collector's, put a +1/+1 counter on Pelt Collector. As long as Pelt Collector has 3 or more +1/+1 counters on it, it has Trample. So we're definitely going to have Trample, seeing as there are quite a few creatures in this deck. And then also Proliferate is, well, the main name of the game. So we're going to be proliferating as much as we can, get this Pelt Collector as big as possible, and swing. Opt for 1 blue. You get an instant, says scry 1, and draw a card. Scry says look at the top card of your library. You may put that card on the bottom of your library, or you can put it back. So, with this, we'll be able to scry. Hopefully we get a couple lands from this, and then we'll play the lands, and then, well, I'll tell you why the lands are important in a second. Next off, we have Open the Gates. For 1 green, you get a sorcery. Search your library for a basic land card or gate card. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. So again, just like the Boral Grazer, what we're going to do, play Open the Gates, get a land, and then hopefully, if we haven't made a land drop, we can play it. Or if we have made a land drop and we have a Boral Grazer, we could play that and then get an extra land. So that's how those 2 cards are going to synergize for this deck. Pollen Bright Druid is a 1/of. For 1 and a green, you get a 1/1 Elf Druid. When it enters the battlefield, choose 1. Either put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or proliferate. So, depending on when we get this out, is what we'll do. If we get this out early, if it's the only thing we have, we'll put the +1/+1 counter on it and use our other things to proliferate. If we don't, then what we'll do is we'll proliferate everything else we have, and then boom, now we should be fine. Merfolk Skydiver for a green and a blue. You get a 1/1 Merfolk Mutant with Flying. When Merfolk Skydiver enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. And then for 3, a green and a blue, Proliferate. We're not going to usually have enough mana to use that and do what we're doing in our turn. And we have quite a bit of card draw, so what will end up happening is we'll just get this down, put a +1/+1 counter probably on it, since it's one of the few flyers in this deck, and then that's it. If we have extra mana and no way to draw cards, then we'll use the Proliferate. Contentious Plan. For 1 and a blue, you get a sorcery, Proliferate, and then draw a card. And then Proliferate, since we've been doing that this entire time, that's perfect. We're not going to play this if we don't have anything to proliferate, but if we do, we proliferate, we get a card draw. Evolution Sage, this is a 1/of. For 2 and a green, you get a 3/2 Elf Druid. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, proliferate. Now we have ramp in this deck, so we're going to be playing lands pretty much every turn if we can, and then we proliferate on all our big things. Preferably the Pelt Collector, the Pollen Bright Druid if we put the +1/+1 counter on it, or the Merfolk Skydive if we put the +1/+1 counter on it. Narset, Part of Veils, this is a 1/of. For 1 a blue and a blue, you get a 5 loyalty legendary planeswalker Narset. Each opponent can't draw more than 1 card each turn. And then for the -2, look at the top 4 cards of your library. You may reveal a non-land, non-creature card from among them, put it into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. This is just another card draw, and then since this is a -2, we proliferate twice, and then we'll be able to use it again. Preferably we'd want our opponents to swing at this, so it's perfectly fine if they do. It's really just in here to distract them, since they're going to be worried about not being able to draw more than 1 card a turn. So Courage and Crisis. For 2 and a green, you get a sorcery, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, then proliferate. Again, we're not going to use this card unless we have things to use it on early. So if we don't have a creature, then obviously we can't use the first part. But if we don't have a creature that it's worth putting a +1/+1 counter on before proliferating, then we're not going to do this. Now, what the best thing to do is if we have the Pollen Bright Druid or the Merfolk Skydiver that didn't have +1/+1 counters on them, then we'll put them on there. We'll put the +1/+1 counter on them and then proliferate, and now we have even more things we're proliferating. Jing, Yangu, Wildcrafter for 2 and a green. You get a 3 loyalty Yangu Planeswalker. Each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it has tap. Add 1 mana of any color, and then for -1, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So again, Proliferate's going to keep this from dying, and then what we'll do is we'll put a +1/+1 counter on a creature that doesn't have one yet, and then that'll enable us to proliferate even better. So that's why that's in here. And then also that gives us quite a bit of ramp, seeing as the Arboreal Grazer. We're probably not going to swing with that. So on our opponent's turn, if we have instants, then what we'll do is we'll play, put the +1/+1 counter on the Arboreal Grazer, tap it for the mana, use something like Opt. So Bloom Hulk for 3 and a green, 4/4 plant elemental. When it enters the battlefield, proliferate. This is another one of the cards that would be great to have Pollen Bright Druid or Merfolk Skydiver or Yin Yangu give a +1/+1 counter since it doesn't have one of its own. So what we'll do, get it out, give it a +1/+1 counter, and then now we can start proliferating it too. And so since it's already a 4/4, it's already big. Kashmina, an Enigmatic Mentor for 3 and a blue. You get a 5 loyalty Planeswalker, Kashmina. Spells your opponent cast that target a creature or planeswalker you control cost 2 more to cast, and then for -2, create a 2/2 blue wizard creature token, draw a card, then discard a card. We're not going to use the -2. That's in here only so that it's harder for opponents to target our stuff. So, Vraska, Swarm's Eminence for 2, and then Golgari Hybrid twice. You get a 5 loyalty legendary planeswalker Vraska. Whenever a creature you control with death touch deals damage to a player or planeswalker, put a +1/+1 counter on that creature, and then for -2, create a 1/1 black assassin creature token with death touch, and when this creature deals damage to a planeswalker, destroy that planeswalker. So this thing is the only thing that has death touch in this deck. So what we'll do, we'll make a token, we'll proliferate twice, we'll make a token, we'll proliferate twice. So we'll just keep doing that over and over again, get as many assassins as we can. Also, we'll get the assassins +1/+1 counters, so that way they can start building themselves up, and then our opponents won't want to swing into, or won't want us to swing into them with it, so probably they'll block, have creatures die, and then the Pelt Collector can get in. Samut Tyrant Smasher for 2, and Gruul twice. You get a 5 loyalty legendary planeswalker Samut. Creatures you control have haste, and then for -1, target creature gets +2/+1 and gains haste until end of turn. Scry 1. So how we'll do this is if we have the Bloom Hulk come in and Samut is out, we can do the -1, give it +2/+1 and haste, and now it can attack. So now it's a 6/5. So that's pretty important for that time of the game. Bioessence Hydra for 3, a green and a blue. You get a 4/4 Hydra Mutant with trample. Enters the battlefield, +1/+1 counter on it for each loyalty counter on planeswalkers you control. Whenever 1 or more loyalty counters are put on a planeswalker you control, put that many +1/+1 counters on Bioessence Hydra. So this is going to be one of the most important cards of the deck. If we have Yin Yangu and Narset out, preferably they have 1 loyalty each, play the Bioessence Hydra, boom. Now it gets 2 +1/+1 counters, and whenever we proliferate, that's putting a loyalty counter on one of our planeswalkers, so it'll get a +1/+1 counter as well, and also it will get the +1/+1 from that as well. Ruralesque Apex Hybrid for 2, a green and a blue. You get a 4/5 human mutant, flying trample. When it enters the battlefield, put 2 +1/+1 counters on another target creature you control. When it dies, proliferate, then proliferate again. So 2 proliferates are pretty awesome. Also, it gives something 2 +1/+1 counters. So it gives us something to proliferate when it dies. Storm the Citadel. This is going to be one of our finishers. For 4 and a green until end of turn, creatures you control get +2/+2, and gain whenever this creature deals damage to a player or planeswalker. Destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. Now, normally that part isn't as important, but the +2/+2 until end of turn is actually really relevant, especially since we want our creatures to be bigger. Next, we have Oko the Trickster for 4, a green and a blue. You get a 4. This is the not good Oko, but you get a 4 loyalty Oko. +1, put 2 +1/+1 counters on up to 1 target creature you control. 0 until end of turn. Oko the Trickster becomes a copy of target creature you control. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to him this turn. And then -7 until end of turn. Each creature you control has a base and power toughness of 10/10 and gains trample. So why that's important is it's going to be pretty easy to get that -7 because we have so much proliferate. So we're going to proliferate until we get that -7, use the -7, and then preferably Pelt Collector's out. Pelt Collector already has lots of +1/+1 counters and trample, so it should be able to finish the game. Plane wide celebration. For 5, a green and a green, you get a sorcery, says choose 4. You may choose the same more than once. The only one that's relevant to us, or 2, is either A, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Since we have a lot of 1-ubs in this deck, that will help us out a lot as we can go grab them, or we can proliferate. So, that's what we're going to be doing. We're either going to proliferate 4 times, or we're going to grab permanents from our graveyard, put them in our hand, and then use the proliferates for the rest of the times. We have 3 islands, 4 Mystic Sanctuaries. Mystic Sanctuaries enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 3 or more islands, and it enters the battlefield untapped. If it does, you may put target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on top of your library. So, hopefully this comes out late, and we'll be able to put either Storm the Citadel, Courage and Crisis, or Contentious Plan back into the top of our library. And then when we draw, we'll be able to use them again, obviously. That would be amazing. We have 8 Forest, 4 Gingerbread Cabin. Gingerbread Cabin is the same as the Mystic Sanctuary, except it cares about forests. If it enters untapped, create a food token. We have 1 Breeding Pool, 1 Simic Guildgate, and 1 Temple of Mystery. Temple of Mystery enters tapped. When it does, scry 1. So that is it. So we're only 12 minutes in, or a little bit over that, so we'll go ahead and play this out. I like this game mode, seeing as it bans a lot of the big stuff, so you actually have to kind of be good at deck building. So we've got 3 lands, Open the Gate, and Pelt Collector, so we're going to go and keep that. I want to scry because I want to see if there's a land. There's not. So what we'll do is we'll play the island next. Oh, well, we'll play the cabin next, since it's going to enter tapped anyway. Ooh. Okay, I didn't I didn't expect that. So we'll play the Pelt Collector, play the cabin, and then next turn we can go grab a forest if we want. We don't have to, so we'll play the island, play the Evolution Sage. That'll get a +1. We can block that anyway since it has haste. No blocks. So they've done 2 damage to us. We'll do damage back to them. Play the island. Play the Evolution Sage. Swing my 2 damage at them. So now we can block with the Evolution Sage against the Fervent Champion if we want to, but we're not going to do that. We really don't care. We'll let them swing. Protection from green. That ruins our whole plan right there, too. Oh well. So what we'll do, we'll play the Breeding Pool. We need to pay the 2 life since we need it out. Submit. Oh, no. That's so bad. Dang it. Well, we're going to swing out first. They're probably going to block twice, but what we do is we move the... Yeah, I can't proliferate, but having a 4/4 out, pretty good. Submit. I can't do it, but I'm going to press it anyway. So, I didn't expect that. So, I can't have the +1/+1 put on the Bioessence Hydra anyway, so if we have the land come out, we'll play it. If we don't, we use Open the Gate, and then we'll play another Bloom Hulk, so because 4/4 is still relevant here. So they can put it on the Bright Beetle, but, yeah. So since I can't block it anyway, but the Fervent Champion I can block. So, but they did that so that way I wouldn't be able to kill their thing. Okay, so grab the forest. Play the forest. I can't do it, but submit. I know I can't do it. Play Vraska. So that's why she's in here, because I knew he'd run into something like that. So now, what we could do is swing and then kill that Fervent Champion, but more than likely they're not going to block. So we would just use, well, actually I don't, yeah, no attack. That wouldn't help us if we were to attack right there. But now we can use Proliferate and give Vraska +1, so that helps us out quite a bit. Also, if the Blight Beetle swings in, we'll just let it go, and then we'll kill the Fervent Champion. So they've kind of got, we're both in an impasse at the moment. In case they try something funny. Yeah, I figured that was going to happen. So it beats both. That's bad. That's bad. That's so bad. Oh well, it happens. Let's Bloom Hulk. Can't put +1/+1 counters. That kind of just hoses our whole strategy, though. It's just so bad. Saying it's Belt Collector, since I wouldn't be able to block anyway. If they want to kill it, and then I'll kill the plan. That. So. Yeah. This, I was set up for failure with this one. We'll try again. Hopefully they don't have another one. Depending on how bad this goes, I might just scoop, because there doesn't seem to be a point to play this out. Because that one creature just stops my entire deck. Okay. It has Death Touch, so I'm not messing with it. They don't have black mana this time, so I can block that. Block and block. Like I said, they don't have black mana, so... You gotta be kidding me. Really? Oh well, it happens. We can get Oko out this time, but we can't put +1/+1 counters, so that doesn't help us. 1 forest, 2 forest, 3 forest. Submit. Get the Bioessence Hydra out. I can't put the +1/+1 counters on it. Can't put the +1/+1 counters on it. Use the -2. That's so annoying. So what we could do, swing with these two, force them to block, kill that Wintermoor. We'll do that. The Bioessence Hydra can still stop the Fervent Champion, so... The only way we're going to win with this deck is if we can get in, so... We also need a way to kill that. And I only have one way to kill that, so... Yeah. Oh no, that's bad. We just straight up block, so, yeah. Another... Oh, I think I did that wrong, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Oh, go. Yeah, I know, I can't do that. think I'll just do the +1 anyway. I know. Next. I can swing with the Death Doe. That'll block it. And they'll deal damage to me. No attacks. In turn. If I get a way to kill that Blight Beetle, I'll be so happy. It's so ridiculous. They've got us pretty much at a standstill. Oh no. Who puts that in the deck? You gotta be kidding me. I've not seen that card in a deck this whole time. At the beginning of your upkeep, each player draws a card and loses 1 life. Okay, they will lose to that before I do. So, also the Winter Moor does not get indestructible itself. It gives another one indestructible. So, I'll let the True Fire Captain swing in, and I'll block something else. If that swings, it's dead. It's a 9, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Ugh. It's pretty bad, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, let's see how they line up these triggers. Oh no. So I can let her die. Who did it give the indestructible to? Him. So block there. Block there. Yeah, I know. So let's see how we do. So we can gain life using those. Unfortunately, that's gone, which kind of stinks, but draw a card. Bottom. Oh, don't go out. That's so bad. I'm just in circles right here. I'm just gonna good game. I can't do anything. When you're running the decks like that, it makes this whole game just so aggravating. But we did get some stuff, so claim. As at 23 minutes, a little bit more than that, so I will call that one a day. You see how this deck works? It can work better if we didn't have go against what we went against, but I will see you in the next video. Later.